Assalamu alaikum, family. Just wanted to talk to you tonight a little bit more about sowing a good seed and doing a good deed. I posted that earlier on my Instagram, on my social media page earlier this week, but I really wanted to elaborate on it tonight, go in a little bit more and talk about really what I meant by sowing a good seed and doing a good deed. You look out into the world today and you see our people are in such a foul mood. You see society today is such a foul mood. Everybody's out for self. Everybody's trying to do for their own self, and they just kick everything else and everybody else to the curb. But understanding the law of attraction, in order to receive good, you have to give out good. In order to receive more, you got to give more. In order to reciprocate more, you have to be more of a helping hand. So that's what sowing a good seed and doing a good deed is about. It's about how much good can you do. We sit around and we see so much negativity. We're surrounded by so much negativity, so much negative thoughts on social media, out in the world, when you turn the TV on, that we forget about all the positive things that we can do ourselves as people. Sometimes your charity can be just giving somebody a good word, a good lift of encouragement. How many people have you encouraged today? How many people have you said, "How you doing, sister? I just want you to put a smile on your face"? How many times have you just had some extra change and you just gave it to somebody that you know might have needed it? How many times have you paid it forward? That was a big thing at one time, paying it forward. But it shouldn't be just a trendy thing. It should be something that we do all the time. I went out and was trafficking my paper today in the highways and the byways, and a sister wanted to get a paper and I was getting ready to give it to her for free. But the sister in front of her went ahead and said that she'd donate for that lady paper. She was really paying it forward. It's all about the kindness in our hearts. And when you're out doing this work and you're out trying to save a people that have been so oppressed, downtrodden, abused, beaten, we have to love. We have to give so much love. You have to go out in that spirit that Jesus had, which is the spirit of love, the spirit of care. And you got to love on our people. You got to go and you got to be prepared to love on them even if they don't want you loving on them. That's what this is about. That's what we need to do. And that's what I feel is important today. We got to do more good, man. Because that is how we change the perception and the mindset of the people, is by putting that good energy out. And then once that good energy is out, then it starts to bounce from person to person. You know how when you sneeze, they say when you sneeze, it becomes contagious. So when you sneeze, somebody else sneeze, somebody else sneeze, somebody else sneeze. So we need to be just as contagious with love and charity and doing good works as the sneeze is. We have to do so much charity to everybody around us, just giving. Just giving. You know, you don't have to ask no many questions about when you're going to get it back, what's it going toward. No, just give it. Just give it. You know, now we know that brother may be going to use that couple dollars on a beer or on some cigarettes or something like that. But we understand that we got to teach. That's where the teacher come in. But that don't mean withhold the gift of giving because you have a prejudgment on what you think he going to do with that money. Just because you think you have a prejudgment on what he's going to do with that money, it's going to keep you from being able to do a good deed. So we can't be like that. We got to teach our people that we are here to love on them, that we're here to love on you. Brothers and sisters, we here to love. And that's what this work is about, because we going out and we trying to save a people that been in a tremendous, horrible condition for 400 plus years, 465 years of abuse. It's like an abusive relationship for 400 plus years. Women know about abusive relationships for a couple years. Black people been in an abusive relationship for 465 years. So we have mental issues. And a lot of us don't understand that, so we go to prejudging. Instead of loving, we go to prejudging. That's not good, family. We have to understand that people are dealing with stuff. Everybody's dealing with stuff. If you black in America, then you dealing with some type of mental illness, because we all been traumatized being in this country under this structure, being oppressed by the rulers of this world has traumatized all of us mentally. Even the ones of us that have climbed out of this suit and have changed our mindset, we still have some wear and tear and effects of that trauma. It's just like a soldier that went out to war and got PTSD. It's the exact same thing. Sometimes you still have episodes even after you have a comforter. Soldiers that have PTSD, they have animals, you understand, that help comfort them. They have other ways of coping with that PTSD. And so do us as black folks. We have different ways of coping from this American, Europeanized PTSD trauma that we have gotten ever since they brought us over here in the boat in 1555. But instead of coping and using God as a coping mechanism, using God as our pillow, as our comforter, using prayer as our communication, that how we get our frustration out, we go to social media, we go to the cigarette, we pick up the alcohol. You understand? We start gambling, we start beating on women, we start abusing our children, we start neglecting our children. All as a coping mechanism with because of the trauma that we have had happened to us while we've been sojourning in America. So this is why it's our job now, because we got the knowledge. The nation been teaching. The 5%ers been teaching. The Hebrew Israelites been teaching. The Moors been teaching. The knowledge is out there. The black nationalists, the Pan-Africans. We've been teaching. The knowledge is out there. All you got to do is go get the books. But now we got to apply that knowledge and make it real. We got to apply that knowledge and make it applicable. Now we have to start creating with that knowledge physical fruit. We have to start creating physical fruit from all that intellectual knowledge that we gain. Now we have to start showing the fruit. So we have to start having restaurants, businesses, business models, jobs, creating opportunities for our people to elevate our standard of living, which will first elevate our mind. See, once you get this teaching, and once you start to teach the people, then it's going to have them elevate their thinking. So once their thinking elevates, then their standard of life is going to want to elevate, because their thinking is elevated. And they're going to want to put the cigarette down. They're not going to cope the same way they coped before, because now they understand that God is the only coping mechanism that you need. If you understand how to call on Him right, which is through prayer, and you understand that you strive to live the way that He told you to live, then coping and using God as a coping mechanism and leaning on Him and understanding that He is sufficient, that Allah is sufficient, this is what the Quran teaches us, then you won't have to fall back into the ways of the world which keep us depressed, which keep us in a mental state that causes us to go into a declining physical state. And then we won't be able to open up our hearts to be able to give charitably, to be able to love on our people. This is a group effort. It's a group effort. And like the minister said, it's time to unite, regardless of sect, regardless of religious belief. We all understand that we need our own land. We understand that we need our own infrastructure. We understand that we need our own schools, our own banks, our own grocery stores. We understand those core principles and foundations is what's necessary to uplift and bring about a change in the world that is currently under an evil rulership. Then what we have to do is put aside the petty differences. You have to put aside the fact that I don't wear a beard, you wear a beard. You have to put aside the fact that you wear a cross, I don't wear a cross. You have to put aside the fact that I study the Quran and the Bible, you just study the Bible, you just study this book and that book. You had to put aside the fact that you following Marcus Garvey and I'm following the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You had to put aside the fact that you think the nation killed Malcolm. Huh? You got to put aside all these petty differences, which can be proven to be true and false, by the way, because there's plenty of facts out there. So why don't we settle on the truth, and then let's unite and move forward on the base principles of land ownership, building infrastructure, and doing something for ourselves, which all of these major leaders that you different people say that y'all follow behind, whether it's Marcus Garvey or Noble Drew Ali or the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan or the most honorable Elijah Muhammad or Malcolm X or Huey P. Newton. If you say that you following anything that these brothers taught, Martin Luther King, if you say that you following anything that these brothers taught, then unification should not be that hard, because all of them across the board taught unification, doing for self, and the basic fundamental structure that we need in order to become and be recognized as a nation of people, an individual nation, a separate nation, just like Wakanda. So that's what we have to do. We got to stop all this backbiting, all this quick judgment, all of this evil negativity on our own selves, because God only helps those that help themselves. The scripture says God helps those that help themselves. So if we can't get to a point where we helping ourselves, then we know it's no mystery God that's coming to save you. And God is not going to assist us in our salvation, in our uprising, until we decide to save ourselves. So now we can't say, I'm not dealing with that brother because he a Nation of Islam member, or I'm not dealing with that sister because she is a Christian. No, the minister said we have to settle on the best part of our people. You know, we have to settle and find the good in our people and stop sticking on the bad. Not stop staying and landing and harboring over what's bad and over the evil and negativity, because nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody got skeletons in their closet. Everybody got flaws that they're working on. But if your love is bigger than your negativity, then your love is going to outshine that negativity, and you're going to want to find the good in somebody. You're going to want to say, well, I understand they got those flaws, but how can we build on these positives right here? How can we build on these basic fundamental principles that are strong in this sister right here, or that are strong in this brother right here? How can we build on that and not talk about the negative? Huh? I want you to think like that today. I want you to see the next person you come in contact with, the next person that you have a conversation with, let's build on the positive. Your friends, family, your circle, the people you're around on a daily basis, let's build on the positivity of that person and not on the negativity of that person. And let's see how things start to change and start to benefit ourselves better when we do that. Because we're not the judge. At the end of the day, we are not the judge. Allah is the judge, and He is the judge of judges. You understand? He is the best knower. So what we need to do is we need to strive to be like Him and have that type of discernment and understand that people have flaws. If you read the scriptures, you understand David was one of God's highly ascended prophets. He was the psalmist. David was in the music. You understand? But David had flaws. David slept with his boy's wife. David had his man's killed. You understand what I'm saying? David had a lot of flaws. But see, David also slew Goliath. David also was the psalmist, and he was giving prayer through his music, delivering God's message. So at the end of the day, when David did mess up, David went right to God with it, repented for his actions, and God was able to say, David, I forgive you. Because see, your good outweighed your bad. So I'm not going to hold your bad against you because you've done so much good. You understand what I'm saying? So you see how that worked out? And then in the story, his own son ended up catching the wrath that was meant for David. Because his son decided that he wanted to be judge on his father and put him out the kingdom. Woo! Look at that work. Look how that worked. Now think about that today. How we want to play judge on somebody else's flaws when we got our own flaws. And you see how God will take that and turn that and make that a positive for that person and a negative for you. Let there be a lesson in that. Let there be a lesson in the relationship with David and how we operate today. And we need to make sure that we are settling on the best part and making sure we pulling out the good in our people. Pulling out the good in the youth. The youth don't respond to our elders in the community that always want to condemn them. That always want to have something negative to say to them. Want to be condescending to them. Or because they can't relate, because this ain't their time no more, and the times has changed, they can't relate, so they want to always bring you back into their world as if your world is no good. See, you can't do that with the youth. You can't do that because they've already been demonized. Society has already labeled them as such, especially in our community. Youth overall, but especially in our community, our youth have already been labeled a certain way. Especially black men, black boys, as thugs, as gangsters, as drug dealers, as troublemakers. You understand what I'm saying? So when we as the up and coming, and then the elders that help groom us, because we always pay respect to the elders. You always got to give respect to the elders, even though everything that they did wasn't right. You understand what I'm saying? But you always give respect to the elders. But now they can't come in and condemn the youth, and then we sit back and allow them to do that to the youth. Because we know how that felt with us. You understand what I'm saying? So it goes back to what I was saying earlier about having more love for your people. Now you might not agree with what that young brother doing. You might not agree with what that young sister got on. But what you do is you have more love for her and him for you to say, well, sister, brother, would you come with me for a second? Let me pull you over and teach you a little something on this. Huh? Let me break this down. Let me let you know this is what the minister said on this. Sis, I'm not talking about what you're wearing, but the minister said that the righteous women are covered. You understand? Because see, the law mandates that if a man takes anything from a woman that she's not willing to give, then we have the obligation and responsibility. Hold on, you ain't hit me. We have the obligation and responsibility to take a life. You feel me, sister? So that's how important your body is. That's how important your mind is. That's how important you as a whole are to us as black men. But we have to make sure that we're taking the proper steps that God gave us as far as giving us a license to be able to handle a situation like that. So you have to be covered, sister. Not saying that take away from your stylist personality. But what I'm saying is it has to be on a modest level. That's all. Modesty. And then what happens is you'll start to attract those same type of people. That same type of positive energy. That same type of modest, positive energy that's going to help you grow like a flower. Yeah, brother. I don't agree with your parents being like that, brother. But that don't take away from the gift that God gave you. Huh? Sister, I don't agree with you getting a perm, but we're going to talk about that later. That don't take away from the gift that God gave you. Because you might be an excellent motivator. You might be an excellent physicist. You might be an excellent mathematician. But we haven't tapped in or honed in on that because we too busy. We too addicted to consoling our early problems with everything other than Allah himself and the love and the unmatched guidance that he's given us. And in our midst today, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and in these teachings that he gave and delivered to his messenger, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and in these wonderful books that He's blessed us to read in the Bible and Quran. So I encourage us all to think about and think on what I talked about as far as opening your heart to do a good deed in order to sow a good seed. Opening up your heart so you're able to give with that love. Opening your heart that you're able to teach with that love. You're able to teach with that spirit of a redeemer, of a savior, of a deliverer. You're able to go out with a smile on your face, and you're able to go into the highways and byways and the hells of North America with the people sitting at the light and walking around the corner or coming to the door with their face all balled up like knocking on my door, coming up to me in my window. Know y'all got them bean pies though. I ain't trying to get that paper, but know y'all got them bean pies though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they feel that energy coming up off. That's how it be. They feel that vibe coming up off, you know. So they like, man, I know y'all got them bean pies, bro. I know y'all got a fruit cup for me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that's how they be. That's how they be, because they know we coming with the love. They know we coming with the love. So we got to do the same thing. We all got to take this as a responsibility. So I'm laying it out for everybody. I'm laying it out to everyone that calls himself a so-called leader, or anybody, not even one that is in a leadership position, but I'm talking to everybody on the technical level, because parents, you in a leadership position. Teachers, you in a leadership position. Older brothers and sisters, you in a leadership position. Because if you're an older brother and you got a younger sibling, you in a leadership position, because they looking at you to lead. If you a parent, your child looking at you to lead. If you a teacher, then you teaching classes and courses, you in a position of leadership. And across the board, if you a person of influence, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, you understand? Whether you working in the community as a social worker or a caseworker, or if you in corrections, probation officers. We all in position of leadership because we able to lead by example, and we all have different opportunities to be a blessing and to provide encouragement and to do some type of charity work, whether it's monetary or not. Because charity work doesn't have to revolve around money. It can be just simply blessing somebody with a smile. Put a smile on your face, brother. You are a handsome brother. Put a smile on your face, sister. It's a beautiful day outside. And we woke up this morning, and now we have another chance to get it right, because everybody didn't wake up this morning. You understand? Everybody don't have another chance to get it right. So you thank Allah for blessing us, and you thank Allah for allowing us to have a second chance to get it right, third, fourth, continuous chances to get it right, and we don't have no choice but to strive and do what He's asked of us to do. I appreciate you, family, for taking the time out to listen to your brother. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Brother King Cam. You can follow me on Facebook at King Cam. You can follow my social media page, media marketing page, CampaignTv, on Facebook and Instagram as well. I hope everybody enjoys this video. Please like, share, comment. Let me know how you feel. Peace be unto you. As we said in